Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your guy, the Big Four from the Big Four Sports Podcast. And today, I'm going to be talking about my favorite players at each position in NFL history. I'm not going to be including any Patriots players. As you may know, I'm a Patriots fan. I don't want to just say Tom Brady, Stephon Gilmore, Randy Moss, just because they play for the Patriots. I feel like that's a little biased, and I kind of want to keep biasy out of my videos as much as I can. I know it's going to be hard with sports. Everyone's going to have biasy here and there, but if I can keep out as much as I can, then that would be great. And if I can accomplish that, that'd be pretty dope. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, turn on the noties, and hit the like button. Make sure you do that, of course. We're at 141 subs. We're almost to 150, so thank you guys for subscribing. All right, so my favorite non-Patriots my non-favorite players for the Patriots. These players are not Patriots players. Okay, sorry, that was a little confusing. But my favorite players of all time, entertaining. They were really good. Just players that really made me kind of fall in love with the game as it was. For quarterback, you have a lot of players through history. You have Brett Favre, you have Joe Montana. I mean, yeah, you could pick them, but for me, there's a couple of quarterbacks that kind of really got me into the quarterback position as a whole. Number one, Michael Vick. Michael Vick, first and foremost, is my favorite non-Patriots player of all time. I love Michael Vick. When he was in Atlanta, he was definitely more of like a run-first quarterback. And then once he was on the Eagles, he was definitely more of an arm threat. He didn't really run as much, but he could make every throw. He had the cannon to throw. He had the short. He had the medium. I really just liked both aspects of his game. I think when he combined them both, that's when he was at his best. When he could run for one quarter and then pass the next quarter. He was just super electric. Like, he was as fast as anyone in the league at the quarterback position, which is amazing. And, he could throw the ball. I mean, even in Atlanta, he had a cannon. You know what I mean? So Michael Vick was one of the ones that got me into just fascinated with the quarterback position back in the day. And then the second player at quarterback that really I just love a lot is Russell Wilson, second favorite quarterback of all time, but not named Tom Brady. Russell Wilson is the definition of consistency, greatness, leadership. As a Patriots fan, I'm glad that we beat him in the Super Bowl, but I definitely think he deserved to win the Super Bowl, go back-to-back with Seattle. He's had to carry bad offensive lines, bad receiving core, bad coaching sometimes. I mean, Pete Carroll doesn't really do too much bad coaching, but yeah, I'd say Russell Wilson, I like him a lot. And he's only 5'10", 5'11", and he's kind of redefined, like Drew Brees did it first, but then it was Russell Wilson with he's mobile, he's small, what can we do with him? Kyler Murray kind of fits that mold too, but Russell Wilson definitely, I like him a lot, and he'd probably be my second favorite non-Tom Brady quarterback of all time. All right, and then at running back, I'm gonna have to go Adrian Peterson. He's my favorite running back of all time. I just gotta go with Adrian Peterson. You know what I mean? He's a workhorse. He's a bell cow. He'll put his head down. He'll truck you. He'll outrun you. He'll do everything. And he was on such bad Vikings teams. He was on terrible Minnesota Vikings teams like Christian Ponder. Defenses weren't good. The offensive line wasn't good. And yeah, like I said, Christian Ponder. What a joke. Yeah, that's the first running back. I love Adrian Peterson. He's my favorite running back of all time. Second running back, Eric Dickerson. Now, many people might not know too much about Eric Dickerson if you don't really follow back in the day. I've actually had the pleasure of meeting Eric Dickerson, and he's one of the nicest guys you'll meet. Shout out to him. We met him 5.5 years ago. I liked it was a good conversation with him and stuff. But yeah, he has the most rushing yards in the season. He just brought the swag. He had the goggles. He had the neck pad. I mean, dude, he was in LA, living the lifestyle. I mean, there's a lot to like about Eric Dickerson. Yeah, he's definitely my second favorite running back. All right, we're going to go to receiver. So we're just going to do two for every position. That's I'm not going to do right end, left end. I'm just going to do middle linebacker, cornerback, wide receiver, tight end, stuff like that. No offensive lineman, no defensive lineman. We're just going to throw it out there right now. All right, at wide receiver, my two favorite non-Patriots wide receivers of all time. I'm going to have to go Jerry Rice number one. Come on. I have met Jerry Rice as well. He's such a humble guy. He's such a cool guy. I got the chance to meet him, and he was so cool. He's just he gave me motivation, and it was just good stuff. And greatness at the wide. He's the greatest wide receiver of all time. He put up the stats. He put up the clutch numbers. He has the rings. I mean, what do you know? What is there not to like about Jerry Rice? He's a hard worker, put his head down, and did what he had to do. You know what I mean? Second receiver. Now, I'm gonna go with Odell Beckham Jr. You might be like Odell Beckham. You'd be like Odell? Really? That's interesting. No. It's like a tie. I'm gonna say Odell and Julio, because with Odell, I feel like right now especially, I feel like he's so underrated right now. You might be like, oh, he didn't have a good year. Yeah, he didn't, but neither did Baker, neither did Jarvis. The whole offense for the Browns didn't really have a good year. Odell kind of just brings that swag. You know what I mean? He's got that passion for the game as well. I've just always liked him. I kind of knew when he was a rookie. Like the second they drafted him, I'd seen some like combine stuff. I was like, this guy is gonna be big. I didn't know he's gonna be that big his rookie year, but I was like, he's gonna be a great player in this league. But here he is, still a big fan. And Julio, shout out to Julio, man. Julio is still playing. He's still putting up numbers at the age of 30, 31. He might break Jerry Rice's all-time record for receiving yards if he plays past 38, 39. He probably will, if we're being honest. He's at like 13,000. He only needs like 10,000 more yards. In 7 years, he might be able to do that. Yeah, you never know, man. Matt Ryan's definitely a good quarterback, but Julio makes him look even better. I mean, that's just fact. You can't really argue that. I'm going to go Julio, tied with Odell at number 2. All right, at tight end, number 1, Gronk. I forgot. I can't do Patriots players. All right. So at number 1 for tight end, not named Gronk because I love Gronk. Number 1, I'm probably going to have to go with Kellen Winslow. If you don't know Kellen Winslow, go look him up. I mean, the definition of a grinder, original, like, just hard-nosed tight end. You know what I mean? I liked him. I liked watching his highlights a lot. Him and Dan Fouts on the Chargers back in the 70s, they were fun to watch, man. Kellen Winslow really brought that intensity. He gave it his all. And, yeah, I just liked him as a tight end a lot. Hall of Famer. There's not much you can't like about that. Second tight end. I'm going to have to go with my boy, Uncle Shay, Shannon Sharp. Now, I love him as a commentator as well, so shout out to Shannon Sharp for that. But as a tight end for the Broncos and the Ravens, he was definitely pretty underrated, in my opinion. Playing with John Elway and Terrell Davis and Ed McCaffrey and all them in Denver back in the 90s. And then when he was on the Ravens, he won a Super Bowl with Ray Lewis and the boys out there in Baltimore. But yeah, I'd say he brings the swag. He brought just the intensity. I love watching Shannon Sharp, so that's my second favorite time. All right, so let's move on to defense. Cornerback. Who would be number 1 and 2? Obviously, I can't put Stephon Gilmore. He's my favorite actual cornerback of all time, if we're including Patriots players. My favorite cornerback of all time, Deion Sanders, number 1, no question. It's prime time. It's Neon Deion. You can't really go wrong picking Deion for anything. You can't really have a bad connotation of Deion. I mean, you really can't. He had the perm. He had the chains. He brought the swag. He had the high step. He had the punt return. He played wide receiver. He was locked down. I mean, he really had the swag. I mean, honestly, he really did. He was one of the swaggiest players of all time in the NFL. That's fire, bro. Second favorite corner of all time. I'm going to go with Night Train Lane. Again, if you don't know who Night Train Lane is, you have to go look up Night Train Lane, man. Back in the 50s, when there was no rules on how hard you could hit someone, this man would he would kill you, basically. I mean, he would just punish you. I mean, his hit sticks were just insane, bro. He'd lay you out. Like, and he also has the record for most interceptions in the season with 14, so shout out to Night Train Lane. All right, at safety, I'm going to combine free safety and strong safety. Number 1 favorite safety of all time, rest in peace, Sean Taylor. Favorite safety of all time. Could have been the greatest safety of all time. I think that's pretty obvious. I mean, not obvious, but I think that could have happened. Rest in peace, man. Gone too soon. But I loved Sean Taylor, man. I loved him. He had the hit sticks. He had the great eye coordination. He had the interception. He's on the football team, formerly known as the Redskins. But yeah, I just love Sean Taylor, man. Rest in peace. Second favorite safety of all time, Brian Dawkins. Weapon X. Man, Weapon X was something else, man. If you ever just want to like run through a wall, bro, you just got to go on YouTube and type up Brian Dawkins highlights, because that man just brought the intensity that you need in like a playmaker, bro. He had the hits. He had the defensive presence. He had the energy that he could bring to the team to energize the defense. So yeah, that's why my second favorite safety of all time is Brian Dawkins. Middle linebacker, favorite middle linebacker of all time, Ray Lewis. Gotta be Ray Lewis. The guy was crazy. He was amazing at Miami University on the Canes, and then he got drafted by the Ravens, and yeah, he was there his whole career. And hey, man, he even won a Super Bowl he walked out into the sunset kind of like Peyton Manning did in 2016. Shout out to Ray Lewis for that. Yeah, he's definitely the definition of probably the greatest middle linebacker of all time, for being honest. Second favorite middle linebacker of all time, I'm going to have to go with Patrick Willis, because Patrick Willis is a G. You know what I mean? He retired super early, I think. I think it was like 30, 31, which I guess is not super early, but he was right past the prime of his career, but he probably had like 3 or 4 years to like still dominate. It's unfortunate that he retired, but he definitely had everything intangible. I don't know if he'll make the Hall of Fame. I say he should. He probably won't. I think if he played 2 more seasons, he would have locked up the Hall of Fame, but maybe not. But in my book, he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, just for what he did when he played. All right, at the outside linebackers, probably one of my favorite players of all time, Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor, if I had to pick one player to start my franchise with in NFL history, I'm starting with Lawrence Taylor. And that's for one reason. He's going to dominate you on the defense side of the ball, and he's going to make your left tackle. Your left tackle is not going to know what's going on. He actually made the left tackle important in the NFL, which is crazy. One man takes 2 positions and makes them like as important. I mean, Lawrence Taylor was a game breaker. You can't really game plan around him. He'll disrupt your offense while also just he'll talk to you, bro. He'll give you the trash talk. That's what I love about Lawrence Taylor. Second favorite linebacker of all time, I would probably have to go with. It's tough. I'll probably have to go with Von Miller. I love Von Miller. His personality, his swag. I like everything that he's got to bring to the table. He dominated in the Super Bowl. Shout out to Cam Newton, though. Super excited for the season. You're going to ball out for the Patriots. But, yeah, that's beside the point. Von Miller, he dominated Cam. He dominated the Panthers. There was no stop for it. He definitely deserves Super Bowl MVP. I mean, his performance was nuts. But, yeah, I'll say Von Miller. He's been doing it since 2011. I mean, if you guys remember Aldon Smith, it was like, who's going to be better, Von Miller, Aldon Smith in 2011, 2012, and then Aldon Smith got into trouble and stuff like that. But Von Miller, man, one of the better defensive players we've seen since Lawrence Taylor. I'd say Aaron Donald's the best. I'd say Von Miller might be second with maybe him or J.J. Watt. Yeah. Or like Richard Sherman, something like that. But yeah, that's going to wrap up the video. I just did 2 per position. I could do a more in-depth if you want me to. I didn't want to do too many per position, so this video is not super long. And offensive lineman, defensive lineman, it's not really a big deal. But yeah, those are my picks for my favorite players in the NFL history. If you like the video, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and like the video. And until next time, the Big 4 Podcast out.